Hi children, hope all are fine. So today we are going to discuss the last section of our story that we are not afraid to die. So it is the fourth part. So we will complete this lesson today itself. Okay. I checked and rechecked my calculations. We had lost our main compass and I was using a spare which had not been corrected for magnetic variation. I made an allowance for this and another estimate of the influence of the westerly currents which flow through this part of the Indian Ocean. About 2 p.m., I went on deck and asked Larry to steer a course of 185 degrees. If we were lucky, I told him with a conviction I did not feel, he could expect to see the island at about 5 p.m. So here the narrator rechecked his calculations. He want to make sure whether that Amsterdam is near. Okay, and they lost their main compass actually, so they were using a spare one, and which was not corrected for magnetic variations. And he also estimated the influence of the westerly currents which flow through the Indian Ocean. And around 2 p.m., he went on deck and asked Larry to steer the wheel to 185 degrees. And he felt that if they were lucky, they would see the island by 5 p.m. Then, with a heavy heart, I went below, climbed on my bunk, and amazingly dozed off. When I woke, it was 6 p.m. and growing dark. I knew we must have missed the island. And with the sail we had left, we could not hope to beat back into the westerly winds. At that moment, a tousled head appeared by my bunk. Can I have a hug? Jonathan asked. Sue was right behind him. After that, he took a deep sleep and he woke up at 6 o'clock. And he felt that they have missed the island because he expected to see it at 5 o'clock, but now it is 6 o'clock. So he thought that they have missed the island, and he was worried that they might have missed the island, and he started worrying about how they would tackle the westerly wind more as the ship was not capable to sail more. Okay, so during that time his son came there and asked him for a hug, and his daughter also accompanied him. Why I am getting a hug now? I asked. Because you are the best daddy in the whole world and the best captain, my son replied. Not today, John, I am afraid. Why you must be, said Sue in a matter of fact voice. You found the island. What? I shouted. It's out there in front of us, the coast as big as a battleship. So here the narrator asked why was he getting a hug. So the son replied that he was the best daddy in the world and also called him the best captain. So here the narrator replied that he was afraid because actually till that moment he was sleeping, so he did not know actually what happened there. So at that time his daughter said that they had found the island, okay, which was as big as a battleship. I rushed on deck and gazed with relief at the stark outline of Isle Amsterdam. It was only a bleak piece of volcanic rock with little vegetation, the most beautiful island in the world. The narrator rushed to the deck and gave a sigh of relief, and they could see the complete outline of Amsterdam. So, here the narrator says that it was the most beautiful island in the world. So, why did the author say that it is the most beautiful island? Because due to this island, they are going to survive. That is why he said that it is the most beautiful island in the world. We anchored offshore for the night, and the next morning all 28 inhabitants of the island cheered as they helped us ashore. With the land under my feet again, my thoughts were full of Larry and Herbie, cheerful and optimistic under the direst stress, and of Mary who stayed at the wheel for all those crucial hours. Most of all, I thought of a 7-year-old girl who did not want us to worry about a head injury, which subsequently took 6 minor operations to remove a recurring blood clot between skin and skull, and of a 6-year-old boy who was not afraid to die. So here they moved the ship at some distance from the shore, and the next morning, 28 inhabitants there were 28 inhabitants in that Amsterdam island. So all these 28 inhabitants helped them to move on the shore of the land. As he felt the land again on his feet, actually he thought of his crewmen and obviously about his wife, and he also thought of his 7-year-old daughter who was injured badly, and due to that head injury she had to undergo 6 minor operations. Okay, she had to undergo through 6 minor operations to remove the blood clot in her head. And he also thought about his son, who never gave up and was not afraid to die. So that's we have finished the lesson. We are not afraid to die if we can all be together. And I'll summarize this story in 5 or 6 sentences. Okay, so here the narrator and his family, they started their voyage from Plymouth, England, and the first leg of their planned 3-year journey passed pleasantly without facing any problems. And before heading east, they hired 2 crewmen. The second day out from Cape Town, they began to encounter strong gales, but they are not afraid of the gales, but they are really worried about the size of the waves. On January 2nd, 6 p.m., a big wave, an enormous wave, it struck their boat and it got completely damaged. So during such a difficult situation, it was not possible for them to continue their voyage because that ship, it was in a very dangerous condition. So they have to repair their ship. They rechecked and they calculated and they realized that there's a 65-kilometer wide island near to them. So finding this island was their only hope. If they wanted to survive, they had to find out that island, and they are fortunate enough that they found out the island at last, and they survived. The land under his feet again, the narrator was thinking about the courage that is shown by each and every member of the group, especially his 2 children. So children, go through this lesson 1 or 2 3 times, so it will be easy for you. Thank you. Have a nice day.